Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, we're spending 3 episodes here talking about the Passover. The first episode was yesterday. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It's on the Lamb, okay? And that was taken from chapter 12, verses 1 through 11. Today, we are talking about the Passover part 2, and this is unleavened bread. And this is taken from verses 12 to 20 of chapter 12. And then tomorrow, we'll get into the blood, which is taken from verses 21 to 30. So today I'd like to read about the unleavened bread, okay? Now, before you start, writing letters to me and emails and all this stuff about the unleavened bread being the same as Passover. No, it wasn't the same as Passover. It was a separate holiday, but it was grouped together, okay? And it's all tied together, okay? It's a lot of times we say like the holiday season and we have Thanksgiving, but even closer than that we have Christmas and New Year, okay? And so we celebrate those kind of together. And a lot of people will take the week between Christmas and New Year's off, and you call it the holiday season, And that's kind of what was happening here. But Christmas and New Year's are not tied together, okay? They just happen to be, close to the same time. The Passover and the unleavened bread were tied together, okay? But it was 2 separate times. So, just so we understand each other with that. All right, verse 12. It says this: On that same night, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animals. I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. All those gods that we've talked about before, those false gods that we don't even know or we don't care about, but he's bringing judgment on them, even though they're false gods, they're not real, okay? And it says all the people, their firstborn are going to die, but also the animals. Whatever animals they have left after all those plagues, the firstborn of those is going to die, okay? I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. So, let me stop there. That night, that particular night of Passover, there will be blood in your house, okay? There will be blood of the lamb, okay, which we talked about yesterday. Or if you don't have the blood of the lamb, there's going to be the blood of your firstborn in that house that night. So one way or the other, there's going to be blood. It's if you follow God, you have the blood of the lamb there. But if you don't follow God, it's the blood of the firstborn. Your choice, okay? Verse 14, this is the day you are to commemorate for the generations to come. You shall celebrate as a festival to the Lord, a lasting ordinance. For 7 days you are to eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, remove the yeast from your houses. For whoever eats anything with yeast in it from the first day through the 7th must be cut off from Israel. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly, and on another one on the 7th day. Do no work at all on these days except to prepare the food for everyone to eat. That is all you may do. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread, because it is on this very day that I brought your divisions out of Egypt. Celebrate this day as a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. In the first month you are to eat the bread made without yeast, from the evening of the 14th day until the evening of the 21st day. For 7 days no yeast is to be found in your houses, and anyone, whether foreigner or native born, who eats anything with yeast in it must be cut off from the community of Israel. Eat nothing made with yeast. Whenever you live, you must eat unleavened bread. Okay? So, that's all we're reading today. There's a time period of like 14 days here where they're eating unleavened bread, okay? The Passover was one night, okay? But the unleavened bread, and you can call it the festival of unleavened bread, is 14 days long. And this is to show the importance of not having leaven in there. And the reason you didn't have it in there is because you didn't have time for the bread to rise, okay? And so this stuff was done in haste because you were leaving in a hurry. You weren't like, oh, I gotta let time for the bread to rise, and so I can't leave till tomorrow. No, there was no I'm gonna leave tomorrow. It's I'm gonna leave right now. Okay, and so that's why it's like that. From this point on, you'll see, and Jesus even refers to it in his teachings. The leaven that's used in bread is symbolic of sin. Okay, and you're going to see Jesus talk about that, and the Pharisee, he even says, the leaven of the Pharisees, that sin works in, and if you have a little bit of leaven and you have it in the bread, it affects the whole loaf. And so it's the same way with sin. You have a little bit of sin and it affects your whole body. Okay, if this sheep has a little bit of sin in it, he's a sinner. Okay, if I have a little bit of sin in me, I'm a sinner. Okay, I'm no longer pure. And so that's what the whole leaven thing was about, and that's why they did this whole festival, to show the importance of that. To show that we're in a hurry to get out of here, but also that leaven is a sign of as symbolic of sin, and we can't allow that to happen in here. And God's so serious about it that He says, here that you'll be cut off from Israel. If you have any yeast in from the first day through the seventh day in your house, you're to be cut off from Israel. That means no longer an Israelite. You're excommunicated from that. So very serious. God's saying, I want you to do this. I want you to follow all the symbolism here that you're going to teach for generations here. I want you to do this, and I'm very serious about it. If you don't do it, you're cut off from Israel. All right. So that is today what we're talking about, the unleavened bread, the importance of the unleavened bread in this whole festival of Passover. Passover was one day. Unleavened bread was a 14-day festival. Thank you for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Exodus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.